Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We are on page 106. Today we take up from where Swami Avikarananda had left off, almost. Continuing, the Master said, did you notice the macrocosm and microcosm rest in the mother's womb? Now, you can interpret this in various ways. The whole universe was in the form of a microcosm, and that evolved into the macrocosm. Or the microcosm is embedded in the macrocosm. You don't need to say it separately. However, now we can understand the macrocosm, and now we have an idea how vast this universe is. Unbelievably vast. And if you say, okay, this also is within the womb of the Divine Mother. Now, it might be construed as a kind of hyperbole. Oh, just kind of poetic or something like that. But these, you must understand, are experiences. And Ram Prasad, who has composed this song, had an experience. Like Sri Ramakrishna himself had an experience. It happened like this. Swami Vivekananda, one time, he was meditating, and then he had a vision, and it was inexplicable. So he came to Dakshineshwar and asked Sri Ramakrishna about it. And Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, you have seen the Brahma Yoni, the womb of Brahman. I too have seen it. And in that vision, Swamiji saw creation is continuously going on. Worlds are being created every moment. So it's not a hyperbole, it is an experience, and it's a vast experience, let me tell you. We don't know how many ordinary people might ever attain to that. That's because we are so fixated on the self, the small thing, the consciousness in my body, and consciousness in this, consciousness in that. We have still not grown vast for our understanding to encompass the entirety of creation. Besides the macrocosm and microcosm in rest in the mother's womb, the scriptures also say, especially the Bhagavad Gita, Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham. My womb is that great, you can say, Brahman, the Mahad Brahman. And in that I placed the seed. And then further the next verse says that whatever is born from whatever womb, the great sustainer is this great womb. Womb in the sense it is the source. Look at it like this. So there is this vastness, and now you can understand how vast the reality is. That even the macrocosm and the microcosm are, they rest in the mother's womb. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, the poet says, that is Ram Prasad, even the 6 darshanas are powerless to reveal her. Darshanas, as we have seen and as has been explained, are philosophy, the 6 philosophies. But it's translated as philosophies. It's actually, technically it means to see. Darshana is to see. Drish, to see. So if you follow this line of philosophical reasoning, you proceed and then you can see, you can experience. Seeing is experiencing. So there are these 6 philosophies, orthodox philosophies, and then there are so many other philosophies. But these have their basis in the Vedas, so that's why they're called orthodox. They are the earlier section of the Vedas, the latter section of the Vedas, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara, that's called Vedanta. Then we have Yoga, then we have Sankhya, system of philosophy, and then the Nyaya, that's the logic, and the Vaisheshika, those who analyze the world into atoms and molecules, etc., etc. So those 6 systems are clubbed into 3. Yoga and Sankhya always clubbed together. Nyaya, the logicians, the logic, and the atomist or the naturalist clubbed together. And the earlier sections of Vedanta and the latter section of Vedanta clubbed together. So till he sang this song, Sri Ramakrishna was teaching him the reality through the lens of jnana, knowledge, because he himself was a great Pandit. And now he switches on to bhakti. And later on he'll come to jnana. And this is how a spiritual aspirant actually proceeds. He has a conception of God, begins to love that, then works out his convictions. So this is always. Now if you say, okay, what about yoga? Yeah, it comes into the karma, that we are working out your convictions and establishing yourself in them. So she, that is Kali, cannot be realized by means of mere scholarship. There it is. He said, mere scholarship. He never said, just scholarship. Because in Vedanta, there is something called, one has to hear the words of the Vedanta, Shravana. Think deeply on that, Manana, and then meditate on that. It's called Dhyana, Nididhyasana. So you have to go through a kind of an intellectual, or you can say a period of understanding these truths. But just mere scholarship, oh, that Sri Ramakrishna was averse to it. So I used to say, you can teach a parrot Radha, Krishna, Radha, the names of God. But when a cat comes and grabs the parrot, it will squawk like a parrot. It will forget everything. Then he comes. One must have faith and love. Then he always illustrates his teachings. Let me tell you how powerful faith is. A man was about to cross the sea from Ceylon to India. That's the old name of Sri Lanka. Vibhishana, who was the brother of Ravana, but who came on the side of Rama, said to him, tie this thing in the corner of your wearing cloth, and you will cross the sea safely. You will be able to walk on the water. But be sure not to examine it, or you will sink. The man began. He was walking easily on the water of the sea. Such is the strength of faith. When, having gone part of the way, he thought, what's this wonderful thing Vibhishana has given me, that I can walk even on water? He untied the knot and found only a leaf with the name of Rama written on it. Oh, just this, he thought, and instantly he sank. That's a loss of faith. Most of us are in this predicament. We have faith, but circumstances come and they pull us down. We sink. So, Swamiji says, for the persevering soul, at my will, mountains will crumble. I will drink the ocean. Such is the faith that one needs in oneself. And even in other scriptures, faith, even like a mustard seed. A mustard seed is very tiny, and it grows and grows. So the Bhagavad Gita also says, Yoja Shraddha sa eva sa. As is a man's faith, so is a man. A person is according to the faith that he or she has. Yes. And then what happens then? Again the scriptures say, the faithless, they do not attain this or that. But a person of faith, Shraddhavan labhati jnanam. That person of faith attains knowledge. So this is there is a popular saying. Now he's kind of, making things a little more humorous. There's a popular saying that Hanuman jumped over the sea through his faith in Rama's name. But Rama himself had to build a bridge. There it is. Yeah, he built a bridge along with all his armies, the armies of, you can see all those people who had come, who would help him, the monkeys and all this thing. But Hanuman himself jumped over and got to the other side. If a man has faith in God, then he needs not be afraid, though he may have committed sin, nay, the vilest sin. This is what is important here. Because we always bogged down, or always our minds are clouded. We think about our past and, the mistakes I've done, the sins I've committed. Sins, Vedanta says there is no sin but error. So here you are all those old memories of all those old things that you have done, they are like they're trying to drag you down. Don't. If you have faith, this is what it is. You can, he's saying, you need not be afraid. Then Sri Ramakrishna sang a song glorifying the power of faith. If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be? It's a nice song. Ami Durga, Durga, Durga Boli, Ma Jodi Muri. Like if I take Durga's name, and if I have to die taking Durga's name. And then later on, the the part of the song is like, I will attain the highest state of Brahman. The Sri Ramakrishna has not said these. He never sang that. So, how canst thou, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched do I may be. This is the power of faith. This is the power of God's name. And, how do you acquire it? It won't come in a day. I mean, if it comes, you're blessed indeed. Yeah. But it has to grow. It has to evolve. And as it evolves, you evolve. Because your understanding of God becomes, your faith in God becomes perfect. Sometimes faith is called even an eye. You call it blind faith. No, there's no such blind. It is a mental apprehension of the reality. You don't see it now. But suppose I say, can you visualize an ice cube? Yes, you can. Hold that in your mind. Yeah. Because you've seen ice cubes. But then, suppose you say, okay, believe in this form of God. But I have not seen that. Someone else has seen it. There are many who have seen this forms of God. Oh, really? Yeah. And that is that it's adequate for you to hold on to it. So many people have seen this form of God. Okay, I'll hold on to that and I'll proceed. So it's a mental apprehension. It is a type of knowledge. Faith is not just, I have faith in God. That's a kind of a diluted form of. It is a mental apprehension. And that faith gives one tremendous energy. It gives them willpower, it gives them concentration, it gives you everything. So the Master continued. The Master continued. Faith and devotion. One realizes God easily through devotion. There he comes again. He has grasped through ecstasy of love. He is grasped through ecstasy of love. That is God. With these words, the Master sang again. So, ecstasy of love. The word used is bhava. And bhava it's a very kind of very rich word, and but a complex word also. But in the spiritual life, Sri Ramakrishna says, first one starts with steadfastness, nishtha. And as one becomes steadfast in one's spiritual practices, then develops bhakti, love. And as bhakti matures and matures, it takes a higher form of bhakti. It's called a higher form is parabhakti. That is bhava. So nishtha, bhakti, bhava. And then, of course, he goes to even higher state, mahabhava. But it is true, there's something called a bhava, that you have entered deeply into the spiritual world. People say, can you see God? You can. Only if you enter into the realms of bhava. Some time ago, we had seen the life of Gopal's mother, who for almost 40 years she practiced spiritual disciplines, at the end of which she saw God. The form she was meditating upon, playing with her, eating along with her, frolicking along, helping her, helping in cooking. Can you imagine this state of mind? This is not an ordinary state of mind. It has risen far above the ordinary mind itself. It has entered in the realms of the higher mind. And in this higher mind, you can directly perceive God. Can you see God? Yes, in the state of bhava. That is what it is. Are you sure? You get inside and you'll see for yourself. When she was in that state and in the morning, she ran to Dakshineshwar carrying that babe, her chosen ideal, in her arms. And she was like a mad woman. Her cloth was trailing, her hair was wild. And she came to Sri Ramakrishna and she saw her chosen ideal, the baby Krishna, entering into Sri Ramakrishna and emerging out. There was another woman called devotee, Yoginma. Yoginma is not seeing that what Sri Ramakrishna, Gopal's mother, is seeing, because she was not in the state of bhava. She did attain it, of course. So in that state, you transcend this ordinary material world and you enter deeply into the spiritual world. There, all the spiritual truths are open to you. So the master said, how are you trying, O my mind, to know the nature of God? You are groping like a madman locked in a dark room. He, is grasped through ecstatic love. How can you fathom him without it? Here it is, this first verse, that is saying, how are you trying your mind to know the nature of God? So can't you know the nature of God? Not with this ordinary mind. Because the Upanishads are very clear. It is attained to the mind alone. Manasaivedamaptavyam. It is attained to the mind. But Sri Ramakrishna qualifies it also. The pure mind. The pure mind, the pure intelligence, and the pure Atman are one. Shuddha Man, Shuddha Buddhi, Shuddha Atma, Ek. So the mind has now become transformed through your steadfastness, through your faith, through your steadfastness, through your bhakti and your power. It is no longer an ordinary mind. In that mind, you do not see these objects the way they are. You see them differently. So the ordinary mind is like you are groping like a madman locked in a dark room. Yeah, we know. That's a nice illustration. He is grasped through ecstatic love. Again, the word Sri Ramakrishna uses in the original is bhava. But how can you fathom him without it? Yes. Only through affirmation, never negation, can you know him. Neither through Veda, nor through Tantra, nor through the six darshanas. Again, not to the Vedas. And they are the holiest scriptures. Not to the Tantras, which are the later. We have the Vedas, then the Puranas, mythology, then the epics, and then we had all these Tantras. They're a vast literature. So vast, it's unbelievably vast. It filled this whole room. Nor the sixth darshana. So only through affirmation. So even the Upanishads say, Asti iti eva upalabdhavya. It is attained by first affirming it, saying Asti, it exists. Otherwise you say, well, I don't know if God exists or no, but I'll try. You know what will happen? You might end up with nothing. So it's always like that. It exists. It is existence. You affirm that existence. And then you proceed. It is only then when you can get this. It is in love's elixir only that he delights, O mind. There it is. He, God, delights in love's elixir. This is what, love itself makes you immortal. Love is kind of like an elixir. Everybody has experienced the deepest senses of the sense of love. Makes you a different person. So in that, now we are talking only love for God, okay. He dwells in the body's innermost depth in everlasting joy. So here it is. Get a taste of that joy. And that's what I always say, that what is existence? It is bliss, it is joy. It cannot be otherwise. So the scriptures also say, on a particle of this joy of Brahman, all beings are sustained. Oh my God. Just a particle of all the beings are sustained. And that is, of course, that joy is, of course, in all of us. The scriptures say, who can breathe, who can live if that joy wasn't there in every heart? Ko heva se prana yadi heva akasha anandana syat. So you can see a particle of that bliss of Brahman sustains all of us. Can you imagine the whole thing? So he dwells in the body's innermost depths in everlasting joy. It's everlasting joy. Reality is this, is joyous. And the path to it, you've got to be morose, you've got to be a little, you can say, insular, you have to be stern, you have to be strict, and you have to be No, that's not the way. The path is joyous also. When you know the goal is joy, your path becomes easy. Your love becomes easy. And for that love, the mighty yogis practice yoga from age to age. There it is. For that love, yeah. The yogis from age to age. And yoga has been there, I don't know, since technically we say it's from the beginning of time. Because the scriptures say, Krishna tells Arjuna later on, this yoga, I taught it to the gods first. The gods gave it to the humans and then started this whole tradition. As time went on, because of time, this yoga was vitiated. So I am going to restate it. Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham abhyaya. So the gods meditate, the humans used to meditate. And there is a verse in the Upanishads, the earth is meditating as it were, the sky is meditating as it were, the oceans are meditating as it were. Everything is forest and trees and everything is meditating as it were. If you can understand this meditation, if you partake of part of it, you will become great in this world. So there's a constant activity, constant, you can say, restlessness. But at the same time, look from the other side, it is calm, it is quiet, it is silent, it is beautiful, it is truth. So he's saying, when love awakes, the Lord like a magnet draws to him the soul. Here it comes. That's what he's leading us to. When love for God awakens, he draws to you, through himself, your soul, like a magnet does iron filings. This is what actually it is. And Sri Ramakrishna is often given an example, when a needle is covered with clay, you wash the clay off, and then what happens? Yeah, it's attracted to the magnet. It's like that. So when love awakens, the Lord like a magnet draws to him the soul. For it is he, says Ram Prasad, that I approach as mother. There it is. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. So Ram Prasad says, it is that being, that love, that reality that I approach as mother, because it's very easy to love. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? Indian marketplace is open, loud, noisy, crowded, and you do something and everybody knows what it is. So should I give all the secret out in this marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. Of course, Sri Ramakrishna says later on that it is Kali. So here it is. So the first line is Mon ki karo tattva take. Mon ki karo tattva take. Mind how can you grasp that reality? The ordinary mind can't grasp. And that's the reason why we fail to understand reality. The ordinary mind can understand objects. The pure mind, that imbued with power, can apprehend the reality. So when Sri Ramakrishna was singing, the master went into samadhi. That's a bhava samadhi. Because he became so absorbed in it. And that realm was always open to Sri Ramakrishna. You could traverse from this side, and in a twinkling of an eye, could go on the other side, in the state, in that realm. That is what is called the concentration. Come out, go back in. Come out, go back in. Very few people can do that. Very few people. Because if the absorption is a little deep, or you stay a little longer, you come out, you're still in that kind of intoxicated mood. What intoxication? Is that bliss, that's the upsurge of bliss. And it suffuses every part of your body and mind. You just don't want anything in that state. And you just want to keep quiet. But Sri Ramakrishna mastered both the realms, this and that. So he's saying, so he was seated on the bench facing west, the palms of his hands joined together, his body erect and motionless. Everyone watched him expectantly. Vidyasagar too was speechless and could not take his eyes from the master. First, it is very rare to see a person get into this bhava samadhi. And then when you see that person, the person as a person does not exist. That person has gone. It's just an empty shell of the body. And then after a time, Sri Ramakrishna showed signs of regaining normal state. There comes back. He drew a deep breath and said with a smile, the means of realizing God are ecstasy of love and devotion, bhava and bhakti. This is the means. That is, one must love God. He who is Brahman is addressed as the mother. Here it is. So that Brahman, he addresses as mother. So this is a means of attaining God. He goes to that state of samadhi, bhava samadhi, comes out and speaks these words. This is the speciality of this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. They are spoken from direct experience and from a higher state of consciousness. He goes to that higher state of consciousness, comes and says these words. That's why they ring true, and that's why they will be true. As long as there will be people reading it, you will feel it. Yes, this is no lie. This is no simulation. This is what it is. This is the conviction that comes to people when they keep on reading over and over the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Somewhere deep down, Sri Ramakrishna touches us there. So he who is Brahman is addressed as the mother, Ma. Okay. So he re-quotes that song. He it is, says Ramprasad, that I approach as mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. Ramprasad asks the mind only to guess the nature of God. He wishes it to understand that what is called Brahman in the Vedas is addressed by him as the mother. There it is. Why should he give a different name? So what? You can give 1,000 names. You can give 1,000,000 names. The thing remains the same. A rose called by any name smells as sweet as ever, whatever, like Shakespeare says. Just as sweet. Yeah. So you call anything a rose as the rose. Or you say gulab. Oh, what's wrong with that? He who is attributeless also has attributes. One who is nirguna also is saguna. How does that happen? He who is Brahman is also Shakti. When thought of as inactive, he is called Brahman. And when thought of as a creator, preserver and destroyer, he is called a primordial energy, Kali. Yes, this is what it is. Because you always want an agent of an action. The whole thing is a kind of, has emerged out. It's a kind of a work of an action. So you want an agent. Hey, here it is. Kali. Call it Kali. The primordial energy, Kali. Yes. So she is now the personification, the image of Kali is the personification of the primordial energy. We forget that. We take the personalization or the symbology as the only one-dimensional reality. So that Kali is a primordial energy. That primordial energy is always one with Brahman. So we stop here for questions there. And before we can proceed, Friday we continue Ramchandra Datta, the householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Saturday is Karma Yoga. It's always, when we teach, there are two aspects of teaching. One is you absorb, you learn, you listen. And that has to be put into practice. And that's the reason why we started this Karma Yoga. In order to have your convictions worked out in a way that it will increase your conviction, your faith in this. So the theory and the practice. So we give you opportunity for both. Sunday, we will have the talk at 10 a.m. Yoga, Swami Ji's gift to the US. Okay. Now for the questions, there are no questions. Okay. Any questions here? Yeah. Okay, then we see each other again on Friday and Sunday and again Saturday also. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.